Happy Friday. May is officially upon us. They do say that time flies when you're having fun. I guess it also flies when you feel like you're living Groundhog Day over and over again. Anyway, on our agenda for Sports First today, we touch base with Iñaki live from Madrid to get the latest on La Liga's return to training. And could Real Madrid be planning to make zero purchases in this upcoming transfer window? Georgie Metalis and Gary Bailey are in the house to discuss what that could mean for Los Blancos. And we also discuss how PSG and Lyon are now Champions League favorites. Don't believe us? Just wait. We'll explain. Sports First starts now. Welcome into our Sports First studios. This is a reminder to join the conversation and comment below, and we will get to your comments throughout the show. Time to welcome in Iñaki Angulo live from Madrid with the latest on La Liga's return to training. Iñaki, how are you, and what is the latest?
Hi, Gabi. I'm fine. We are in May, as you said, and we have to celebrate that. And yeah, La Liga is gradually trying to move forward and to come back, and the players will be allowed to practice from this Monday. For example, normal people, we are allowed to run in the streets, for example, starting tomorrow, and professional athletes will be able to go to their training facilities starting this Monday. But they need to be tested, and the tested are going to be made on Tuesday to every player in La Liga to know the exact situation of every player and to know who's healthy, who's not healthy, and then try to move on. First, as we all know, they are going to practice on their own in their training facilities, but on their own, then they will be practicing in small groups, and finally, in 3 weeks from now, they will be practicing all together like they normally do in a normal world, in a normal season.
Right, and is the goal still to get back to maybe playing actual matches in mid-June? Do they still think that that could be possible?
I mean, it's a roller coaster, but I think it's a doable scenario because if they gradually do the test, if the results are positive, which I'm very optimistic because the virus is pretty under control here in Spain right now, I think it's a doable scenario. I think that the Bundesliga is going to set the tone for every major league which is trying to come back, because they are going to start early and they will see if this plan, if this protocol is easy to take into place. Because right now on paper, yeah, it makes sense. I think it's a good protocol, but it's when it collides with reality, when we are going to know if it's a doable situation. In Portugal, they are going to start a bit earlier than in Spain, for example, and I think they are going to set the tone, and as I was saying, set if these virtual scenarios, if these protocols are doable and can sustain the competition.
Absolutely, and I want to talk about when the competition does start back up again, because Lucas Vazquez spoke with a network called Movistar, for those of you that aren't familiar with the networks in Spain, and he has some fighting words. He has said, we are going to win La Liga when this thing turns around. It's kind of exciting to get the competition atmosphere back into this. Real Madrid players clearly very confident that the league will not only start up, but that they're going to win it. What's your take on all that?
I think it's a word a Real Madrid fan need to hear. I think they've been very consistent throughout the year, especially between October and mid-January. They were the best team in Spain and one of the best teams in football because they were very consistent. They played a great defensive football, and if they are able to go back to those basics that led them to beat Barcelona, for example, and that led the team to beat Atletico de Madrid both in the Super Cup and early in February, I think the odds are good to win the tournament. They need to be consistent, and I mean, they are going to have a full squad because Hazard is expected to be back. Asensio might be a factor, and those things I think can benefit Real Madrid cause in this returning of La Liga. But yeah, I mean, the break was in the worst moment of the Real Madrid in months. After that disgusting loss at Betis, they played a horrible performance that day. And I think, they need to be optimistic, and then you need to bring those words to the table, because if Real Madrid doesn't win La Liga, people are going to say, Lucas Vazquez, hey, what did you say? But hey, Joe Namath guaranteed that Jets were going to win the Baltimore Colts in the Super Bowl. They did it, and that quote is now part of history of the NFL.
Iñaki, always coming in clutch with the NFL references. My last topic I want to bring up with you is A report coming out of ABC Deportes, which is very interesting. Obviously, we don't have competition to talk about, so we've been talking about transfers a lot. And this report suggests that Real Madrid are going to make 0 transfers. They are not going to be active in the transfer window because of the money that they're losing. Obviously, they're expected to lose 25% of their revenue because the stadium is closed. We've spoken about the financials. But is this true? Is this a real possibility that we could see Real Madrid buy no one in this upcoming transfer window?
I mean, I wasn't expecting fireworks coming into this summer, in a normal summer. So I don't expect fireworks this summer, but not that fast. I think that they can make a couple of moves because they have certain needs. But one of the advantages, one of the edges Real Madrid has right now is that they have some of the most interesting prospects on loan. I think the quality they have in Akraf, in Martin Odegaard, they are players that can make an immediate impact to Real Madrid. And I don't think they need to make special moves this summer, especially if the main goal is signing Kylian Mbappé in the next window, next summer in 2021. But yeah, I think they are going to be aware if something good happens. For example, they are monitoring Paul Pogba, they are monitoring Van de Beek, Donny Van de Beek. So I expect a couple of signings, but no fireworks, no 100 million additions. They've been smart over the past in the recent transfer market, because if you go back when they lost Cristiano Ronaldo, they didn't panic. They wanted a player like Mbappe. They weren't able to sign him, and they didn't do anything stupid like paying 300 million in Coutinho and Dembélé. They took their money to the bank. It's safe in the bank, and they are waiting for their opportunity, to their window, and to take advantage of other teams at a certain situation.
Iñaki, you say they didn't do anything stupid, but let's not forget that they gave the number 7 jersey to Mariano. Please explain. That was something that wasn't very smart.
But Mariano, the 7... I think I wasn't listening to you, but you talked about Mariano. Yeah, he had the 7. He had the guts to ask for the 7. He's not a legitimate number 7 in Real Madrid. It's a number with a lot of history in the history of the team, with Juanito, with Raúl, with Cristiano Ronaldo. Something was missing when the next in that thing was Mariano. But I mean, you have to be brave in life. Go to the Bulls and ask for the 23 if it were available. I know he's up in the Delta Center. He's retired, but I mean, I love that attitude.
Well, that was very brave to give him the number 7 kid, and we all know how that story went. He's still there, and that's definitely a player they'll want to offload this summer. Thank you, Iñaki, as always, for your insight. Have a fabulous weekend. Stay safe. Go out for a run now that you can, and we'll chat with you next week. Time to bring in Gary Bailey and George DiMatteis to the program. Now that we've said bye to Iñaki, we are officially a 3G network here. How are you guys doing? How has quarantine life been for you? And we're gonna queue up George DiMatteis here, because you have to see his outfit. Everyone's in white. It's quite the spectacle to watch. But yeah, there he is. George, can you please explain your outfit now that everyone can see it?
I'm wearing my I guess soon to be trademark white Kango hat.
Oh, it's trademarked.
Representing Forza Inter, the Biscione. You see the Biscione mark right there on the jersey. So I had to represent one time. Plus, I need to do laundry, so that's why.
The truth does come out. All right, guys, I want to discuss this hypothetical possibility that Real Madrid are not going to buy anyone in this upcoming transfer window. Now, we don't know that this is true. We know that this is a time where rumors run, well, rampant. But I do want to speak as if this is the case. Gary, do you think that they have a squad right now that could take them through all of next season without picking anyone new up? What are your thoughts?
Possibly, Gabby, but I think it's a big risk. I mean, even this season, they're just behind Barcelona. They haven't scored enough goals. They've been very reliant on Benzema, especially in the first part of the season. Yes, Eden Hazard will be back, but if Benzema gets injured, Luka Jovic hasn't done it. Rodrigo's got a couple of goals. So too Vinicius. So for me, they need only one signing. They don't have to buy anybody else. They've got great goalkeepers there. Areola is a backup to Courtois. Back four is fine. Midfield is wonderful. For me, they need to just buy one attacking player. Now, probably won't be Mbappe until next year. So could it be Haaland? Could it be Harry Kane? Could it be Aubameyang, Lacazette, any of these that everyone is throwing forward? But, Gabby, for me, it has to be someone, because if they go into next season and anything happens to Benzema, that's the risk you take. It's even a risk this season. If he gets injured and this season picks up and there's 9 matches to go and you haven't got Benz up front and Hazard still recovering from injury, then you've got to play with 6 across the middle and people taking turns of being a false 9 like Isco or Modric. Don't think you can win the league like that. So for a club as big as Real Madrid, Gabby and George, I think one centre forward is an absolute in this next transfer window.
Alex Fastilov in our comment section does agree with you, Gary. He says Madrid need a backup number 9. And before I send it over to you, George, Mauricio Torres says, love the Inter Milan jersey, one of the best looking jerseys of all time. George.
Thank you, Mauricio. I appreciate that. Yeah, hey, Forza Inter. I have a lot of disposable income because I have no wife and no kids, so I can afford stuff like this. But getting back to the point about Real Madrid, I agree. They have to get a backup striker. We know Luka Jovic has not worked out. And if you believe some reports, he's in trouble in Serbia for breaking quarantine protocols. So we don't even know what his availability might be. I think they're going to let him off. But that certainly could affect things as well. So, yeah, they have to make a move. Now, the question is the quality of player that they're going to get for the price that they can afford. That's going to be the issue right there, because if they're cutting, we mentioned 25%, they lost 25% of their revenue, they can't afford an Mbappe or Erling Haaland. So who are they going to get as a backup center forward that's worth the price or that they can afford? That's going to be something that scouting department, they're going to have to really dig deep and find a legitimate and a quality goal scoring forward to back up Benzema.
Well, I think you just hit the nail on the head.
Thinking of that, and Gabby, if I can just jump in there. Sorry, go ahead, Gabby.
No, go right ahead, Gary.
Oh, sorry, I was going to jump in there and say that if you need money to buy the likes of Haaland and there isn't money in the coffers, then, Gabby, that's the chance to sell players. And with Gareth Bale on the wrong side of 30, time for him to go. Marcelo likewise over the 30 mark. And if you keep those older players, Gabby, they tend to be a problem in the locker room. They tend to, they're unhappy, they're not playing regularly. So I think you can get good money for Bale, you can get good money for Marcelo. Maybe Mariano is another one you can let go. Brahim Diaz, 1 or 2 others like that. And then get the money. And that's when you go and buy Haaland or somebody really good up front.
I don't think, though, that the problem is that Real Madrid don't have money, because they have been one of the clubs that are financially the most stable in all of this. And just like Iñaki said, they didn't go out and emergency buy when Cristiano Ronaldo left. So I do think that they have been putting money aside to make a big money offer for like an Mbappe or Haaland. I think that they're just choosing to be more reserved in this window to see how the market settles down. But George, I want to go back to what you were saying, because you were talking about the scouts, and they haven't picked the correct backup number 9. I mean, we saw them bring in Mariano back from Lyon. That didn't work out. They bought Luka Jovic, which hasn't worked out. I mean, maybe he needs a little bit more playing time. But I think you're spot on. Who is the backup number 9 that Real Madrid should really be looking at in a market where Barcelona are also looking for a backup number 9?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. I'm trying to rifle through my brain here some good goal scorers, some backup number 9s. The first one that comes to mind is Gabriel Barbosa of Flamengo. It didn't work out at Inter. Maybe he could be a good backup number 9 for Benzema. He scored a lot of goals. South American Player of the Year. We know what he did in Libertadores and in the Brasileirão. I'm trying to, who else is there at number 9? People keep talking about Timo Werner. I'm not sold on Timo Werner yet, but he does have a strong, good reputation. So if specifically, those are 2 players that could be affordable, that they won't have to break into the bank like Money Heist to get money to pay those guys. So that might be 2 players that Real Madrid can afford, that are reasonably priced, that they can be effective and still not have to worry about too much about the budget or the money that they're missing from this COVID-19 situation.
Right, and one part of this equation that we haven't talked about is, okay, maybe Real Madrid won't go into the market and buy players, but they do have loanees who are out there. And Gary, would you bring back an Ashraf or an Odegaard to strengthen your squad and maybe get rid of some of the players that you listed?
Yeah, it's very possible if you think you need them. Martin Odegaard, for me, has had a wonderful season. I love watching him. He's pacing the ball. He attacks you with the ball at his feet, running at you. He commits you to defend. He's able to go around you. His passing is fantastic. But then you look at the midfield and you go, well, we've got Kroos, we've got Modric, we've got Casemiro, we've got Valverde. You know, that midfield is so strong anyway. So if you need him, absolutely. Ashraf, yeah, you can bring him back on that right side and double up there for Carvajal. You've got Mendy, who's doing a great job, so I'm not even sure if you need Marcelo. I just don't see weakness, Gabby, in Real Madrid in defense or midfield. I think they have plenty. It come back to the same thing over and over again. It's up front. They're not just short. They are woefully short. Vinicius, Rodrigo, they're just not doing the business. Lucas, these are not great players. Good players, future great players perhaps, but right now great players, no. Then you go to Barcelona and you go Messi, Griezmann, even though he's had a bad season, top-class player. Luis Suarez, when he's fit, absolutely brilliant. And then who are they looking to buy? Neymar and Lautaro Martinez. I mean, do me a favour, those are 5 great players potentially up front, and Real Madrid are going, no, maybe we won't buy, we'll stick with Benz. Well, good luck with that when he gets injured. I just don't think it's the right policy. Everywhere else on the pitch they're strong. Up in attack they are very weak, and if Benz gets injured, Gabby, that could be Real Madrid's season done and dusted.
Absolutely. Let's hit the comment section. John Kiel saying, see what happens with Asensio. When Asensio gets back, they need to sell and wait to make that big purchase, whether it be Mbappe or Haaland. And I think you're spot on, Gary. For this Real Madrid team to compete with the with the Barcelona team that Barcelona are building, if we were to believe all of the rumors, they need an Mbappe or a Haaland. Would you agree, George?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they definitely need a legitimate goal scorer. Yeah, they have a lot of players that can create, but Benzema is the only one who can really finish. So definitely they need an attacking a goal scorer, a number 9. I really like the Achraf Hakimi coming back. I think if you bring back Achraf Hakimi, you can actually let go of Bale, because Bale is a predominantly right-sided player. Achraf Hakimi is a right back. Now, obviously, 2 different positions. Bale higher up the pitch, but Bale does do his work defensively, and we know right backs, modern right backs nowadays, can go up the pitch and attack as well. I think Achraf Hakimi, if they bring him back, that's a very underrated, brilliant move to bring him back and back up. You know, you need 2 quality players in every position. You have Carvajal out wide on the right. You really don't have another right back. Nacho can fill in, but I don't think you want Nacho playing right back consistently. So I think Achraf Hakimi would be a good buy, and that could give them the room to sell Bale and then use that money to fund an Mbappe, a Haaland, or some big-name acquisition. Hopefully not Aubameyang, because I want him to stay with Arsenal, but I don't have any control over that.
No, you don't, George. None of us really do. But speaking of Mbappe, I want to switch gears and go over to PSG and Lyon, because I have an interesting topic for you guys. I think, and we think here at the beIN Sports production team, we were discussing this morning on our morning call, and we think that PSG and Lyon are now UCL favorites. Now, I've long said that I picked PSG to win the Champions League, full disclosure. But I think Ligue calling off the season, ending it as it is, PSG are champions. And now their prime focus is going to be on the Champions League. Gary, as a player, do you think that this is an advantage to PSG and Lyon, that they keep their 100% focus on the Champions League? Or is it a disadvantage because they're not playing quite as often and so they're not exactly match fit? What's your take on that?
I think it's a huge disadvantage, Gabby. I disagree with all you guys. I don't know what was in your coffee this morning or what you guys were thinking, but you know, if you don't if you don't play, it's very difficult to be match sharp. And this is what happens. It's what pre-seasons are for. I've been on many a pre-season, and you know, the first few games you can't quite judge the speed of what happens, because in training, very rarely, Gabby, do you get stuck in, like real stuck in. You push and shove, but you don't want to hurt each other. When you get into a proper game, everything's at little bit quicker because everybody means it now. There's a crowd, everyone's buzzed up, adrenaline. And if you misjudge that slightly, you can be taken to the cleaners. Now, you imagine, and I don't know who PSG will draw in the quarterfinals. Let's say it's Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich have been playing from, 2 weeks' time, and they're match fit, and they're right up for it, and they've got everything sorted, and they've got their minds working together. And you as PSG have been playing five-a-sides and kicking a ball around and trying to simulate match situations. I think they're on a hiding to nothing. I think PSG, this is the first time I think they've got a great chance of winning it. They've avoided, Barcelona and Real Madrid in the last 16, which they normally seem to pick. And now that they have a great chance, COVID-19's come along, and I don't think they'll get past the quarterfinal stage. Unless maybe, Gabby, if they draw Atalanta one of the weaker teams perhaps, but they draw a big team. I reckon PSG and Lyon will be out.
Wow. And George, before I send it over to you, just a reminder for everyone, Lyon still have to play the second leg. They are up 1-0 against Juventus. If things continue as planned, they would go to Turin to play the match. It looks like these games will eventually be played on neutral ground. But what's your take on Lyon's situation and then PSG's situation moving forward?
Well, Serie A is starting to get back into it. You know, the Italian Prime Minister just mentioned that on May 4th, they're going to start implementing phase plans to get back to life before COVID-19, if you want to use that expression. So that means I think Juve will be ready to go. They'll be sharper with their football ahead of that Champions League second leg. Plus, they're just more talented than Lyon. They're going to beat Lyon anyway, regardless of whatever pandemic is going on. If everything was just normal, I think they would have eliminated Lyon anyway. So I think Lyon would be out. PSG is a different subject because of all the talent that they have. It'd be difficult for them to prepare. And Gary mentioned Atalanta. Atalanta is, yes, one of the weaker teams, but they will have that advantage of playing a couple of Serie A games if everything goes to plan in Italy. And so if they draw Atalanta, that's going to be very difficult for them as well. I agree with Gary. You have to have some games before you go into the Champions League just to get match fit, just to get the mentality right. Psychologically getting your mind into playing 90 minutes, getting ready to be in a physical battle with a team that in Ligue 1, PSG is better than all the teams. But in the Champions League, they are not the best team. They are one of the best, but they aren't the best. So those games building up to it are very important psychologically for the squad, helping them stay together. We don't know how limited the training will be for PSG as well. So the match fitness is going to be an issue. I think this is a definite disadvantage for PSG, despite the fact that they have a lot of talent. Maybe the talent gets them through, but the preparation certainly puts them in a behind the other teams that could have the leagues commence ahead of the Champions League.
I definitely see where you guys are both coming from, and I agree. I think that being match fit, not being match fit is a definite disadvantage. But I want to follow up with you both because the way that we see these leagues finishing out, it's a calendar congestion. It's these players playing every 2 or 3 days. So I think there's a difference between match fit and then also fatigued by so many matches heading into these Champions League. These key Champions League matches, don't you think that that's going to play a role if you have a team who's playing every 2 or 3 days and then they have to play PSG in the Champions League, a fresh PSG? Gary, we'll start with you.
Not really, Gabby, because I think the maximum they can play per week is twice. I think most leagues have agreed with the players' unions they won't play more than twice a week. Now, twice a week is what you play from February onwards anyway if you're in Europe. You know, you play midweek Europe and weekend. So, yeah, they might be a little bit leg weary, but they've had, 2 months now to chill and relax and social media and hang out with the family. And so, I think they'll be desperate to get back and they'll have plenty of energy. They've got 9 league games. I mean, that's not a lot, 2 a week. That's 4 weeks. They'll be perfectly match fit. In fact, I think that those 2 matches a week will get them to perfect match fitness in time for European Champions League. So, no, I think everything's pointing towards PSG once again being extremely unlucky. If you go back over the years, I mean, they beat Barca, what was it, 4 years ago? 4-0 at home, lost 6-1 away. They drew Real Madrid in the last 16 the last year. I mean, the year before last. They've just... Every year they've come up against one of the best teams and got knocked out. And this year they're getting through. And what happens? COVID comes along and shuts down Ligue. And so, yeah, I really feel sorry for any PSG fans.
I still think that they're favorites. And Brendan Burns, hold on, George. Brendan Burns agrees with me, and he has a question for you, George. He says, George, who is better than Paris? I'd say they are the best in the Champions League. So give us your answer.
You have Bayern, and was very impressive. You can make the case for Barcelona. Look, even Atalanta has been impressive. They're about 3 or 4 teams. Real Madrid. So, I mean, they are one of the best, but I don't think they are the best. I would have said Liverpool, but they got eliminated. So, hey, how about Atleti? Atleti just took down the champions, the reigning European champions. So, Atletico Madrid is a team that you have to say is a team that could definitely push PSG. So you have 4 or 5 candidates right there that you can make an argument are level with PSG or slightly better than PSG in the Champions League.
Interesting. So you pretty much picked like 4 teams who are better than PSG. So where exactly do you rate them?
Ooh, that's a good question. Oh my God, I like Bayern. I think Bayern. I will go top 3. I'll make it simple for myself. I'll go Bayern. I'll put PSG 3rd, and I'll put Atleti 2nd, just because Atleti took down the reigning champions for now. As of this point in the Champions League, I wish we had gotten to the quarterfinals already, so we know the last 8. But it is what it is. So I would say right now you have to go Atleti. Who do I have? Bayern, Atleti, and then third is, let's say third is PSG.
Interesting.
No,
Well,
no
this.
Barcelona.
Sorry, Gary.
What's
No
going on,
time. No
Gabby?
time.
You
No
can't have
time.
Barcelona in there.
This is a reminder to tune into Classico at home tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the beIN Sports, Facebook, YouTube, and the beIN Extra channel. Remember that Classico that Messi scored his first hat trick? Yeah, me, George, and Eric, we're reliving it tonight. You guys join our Friday night party. Don't miss it. And of course, Sports First PM at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you then.